Greetings from Mel.
Greetings from Sim.
It is our pleasure to have you with us for another B.O.O.K Podcast moment. B.O.K, our book, also known as Building Our Own Knowledge, is a co-created cloud for interrogating, finding, making, and sharing experiences and knowledge on our own terms.
This podcast is brought to you by the labor of love of book working group members Sim Mendes and Melisandre Varan. The music carrying us through is by book working group member and commissioned artist Samir Saunders. Samir brought their sonic waves to its final form by reading All About Love, New Visions by Bell Hooks. We thank our loving ancestors for using our beings as vessels.
We hope you whine or wave with this DIY podcast as much as we do.
Okay, hello. It's me again. I am Sim, artist liaison and facilitator of book B.O.O.K, aka Building Our Own Knowledge. I'm here with Mel, book's artist curator, and I'm also super excited because we're going to talk to Black Power Naps, Sosa and Navild, and they're both here with us today. And yeah, we're just super excited to get started. So I'm gonna throw out an intro. I'm gonna throw it to Sosa first, if that's okay. Sorry. I was gonna pass it to you, and I was like, there's four of us, so let's sort of like mix it and dix it, you know. So hi Sosa.
Hi.
Hi. As
Hello.
a quick intro, just about you, and also if you want to share your top 3 signs and also what you care about today.
How am I? I am I'm feeling a lot of different strains of feelings today. And I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be in conversation with y'all. I feel like with Mel, we have a bit of a long-standing relationship. And I feel like they know our work really well. So yeah, I'm excited about that. And my top 3 astrological signs. Okay, so get this. My oracle said that I really need to not be putting all my details outside in the world because bitches are haters. And I would say that we both have a certain degree of visibility. And so, yeah, I've been advised, and I'm saying this out loud because I think it's a good advice. I've been advised to not say all of my signs. So I'm going to say that I am a Capricorn moon. Usually when I say that, people are like, oh, damn, ouch. And I'm like, okay. But yeah, I'm very much a Capricorn moon.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. And also, what do you care about today?
I care today and every day. I care about friendship. I care about relationship. Like, I would say that's what I care about the most in this life. And I care about making sure to have fun.
Nice, that's so nice. And I was wondering if, and it's okay if you want to pass on the baton, if you wanted to talk a bit about Black Power Naps and like what you've been doing. Also, it's fun.
But also what? Sorry, got cut.
Yeah, so just about Black Power Naps, what you do, what you enjoy doing with Black Power Naps and things like that.
Yeah, so my favorite thing about Black Power Naps is being able to work and laugh and live alongside my best friend, Navild Acosta, who's also here. And I would say Black Power Naps really is the love child of like many afternoons, nights spent just processing with Navild. processing very specific exhaustions that we both had, that were of the realm of the relational, sort of the interpersonal, but also the relational with white institutions, because we're both independent artists, and we, would be touring and sending each other messages and telling each other how institutions had got us fucked up that day, and quickly exchanging what I call verbiage. So verbiage being how to talk to these people in these institutions, and how to plant yourself in front of the arena, the floor of the white institution. And so I'm a third world migrant, and Navild is American. And so he taught me and continues to teach me a lot about entitlement in front of power, because I come from a sort of mind frame that in the arts, if you ever get chosen to do anything at a white institution, like, you should be absolutely grateful and you should accept whatever they're giving you. But I think, I don't know, Navild, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that you had developed a practice from very young of like asking quite big institutions to value your work, to upsell your work, basically to ask for better pay. And that is something that was very much at the center of Black Power Naps, and what we sort of started ideating this space where all of these conversations could happen, and what would it look like if we were to really tangibly, concretely create a space where we can rest at the institution, around the institution, in these moments where you have to ask for your worth, and other interactions. So yeah, I hope that covers it.
Yeah.
Beautiful, yeah. And when Nabil, you introduce yourself also, obviously, because you're also part of it, if you want to chip in and add things. But yeah, thank you so much for like being yourselves, and for having had this love child from your friendship. Las Negras, which is like, apologize for my Spanish, and Naps, yeah. Apologize for my English now.
Let's apologize for all the colonial languages.
Yeah,
All of them. Yeah.
Okay. Should I introduce myself so we cross?
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Hi. I'm Mel, Mélissandre Varin. In this context, I'm B.O.K artist curator. I'm someone that is a co-parent of Eol, almost 4 years old, partner and lover and cheerleader of Sim. Who else am I? I'm someone that didn't have enough sleep last night because I'm currently having COVID. But also I really wanted to have this conversation with you too. I actually never spoke to both of you at the same time, so I was excited. And, yeah, so it's like the cherry on top of my COVID. But in a positive way. Yeah. And so this is Mal. I hear what you're saying about your oracle saying don't put everything out there. I'm going to say it one last time. My 3 ones. So I'm a Pisces sun and a Libra. And today I care about moving slowly, being moved slowly, but also like moving slowly, because I've been like in bed for like a week. So I'm hoping to take like a walk today, but slowly. Yes, that's me. Now, Now, Navid, would you like to introduce yourself? Tell us your astrological signs, or like the top three, or some of it, or none of it. Is up to you. And also tell us what you care about today. Thank you.
Yes, hello. So yeah, my name is Navild Acosta. And I won't tell you what my signs are because I also believe in not sharing too much information. But I did have a birth chart reading that will always stay with me. And it's where I learned that I have God's finger in my chart, which means that I come from generations of archangels. And this means that a lot of what I touch and what I like impact in the world has like a great effect on many people's lives, basically. And what I care about today, okay. I care about being free. I care about being free every day, but specifically being free to be my most authentic self at every single breath of my day. And that means also recognizing moments where I have to authentically code switch in order to pass through borders, through barriers. So I care about my freedom. I care about my friends' freedom. I'm caring about being free in the sense of loving, being free to love, and being free to be loved.
Period.
Period.
Yeah, for real. Thank you so much for sharing that. I really feel that today. Yeah.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I think I'd like to introduce myself a little bit. Hi, everyone. My name is Sim. Yes, in this context, I am B.O.O.K's podcast producer, artist liaison, and occasional facilitator. Generally speaking, in life, I'm a movement artist, also a facilitator, an occasional community worker. And yeah, I'm also a partner and lover to Mal, who is also my partner and lover, and co-parent to Ale, who is almost 4 years old. And we're going to do a little birthday trip soon. It's going to be really nice. And yeah, my top three, I personally don't mind sharing my top three because I don't know, I think charts are very complex, and I suppose, yeah, my face isn't all up in there in the world at this point in time, but also I think there's so many complexities, and also bad bitches can try if they want to, but you know, whatever. So yeah, my top three is Aries, Pisces, and Sagittarius. And today I care about honoring truth. Like the other day I was thinking to myself, like there really is like 8 billion different truths at every like microsecond of every day. But for me, I'm gonna hold like my truth, which is a very flexible one and a very malleable one. And yeah, allowing myself to transform at every moment of every day, and also just being free to be like a little demon and just like, yeah, just like stretching and peeling off this skin that is like trapping you and telling you truths that are not yours. Yeah, that's it.
All right.
So
Extract? Yeah. Did you choose one extract together, or do you have one each?
One each.
Yeah, one.
cool.
Beautiful. Okay. How do we start?
Yeah, how do we start? Okay. How would you want to start? You're a curator.
Oh no. So yeah, I would say like I haven't heard you, Sosa, in a bit. So I would like you to share your extract with us and you as well.
Okay, cool. So the abstract that I have is a text that I wrote myself. It's called The City. And I'm trying to find it. Here we go. Okay. The city has now 24/7 open spaces full of different soft, vibrational surfaces welcoming the body at rest. Most of them grow in the pleasure gardens, slowly repopulating what once was the city's parks. Each comfortable, reactive surface is delicately integrated to the luxuriating plant life. Tree trunks offer structure, while membranous tissue of furry gene pools create restful pockets. Leafy greens give shade to small clusters of fern, repopulating the soil. Each structure breathes, restocking the atmosphere in much-needed dry oxygen. Food, shelter, healing, pleasure, and rest are fundamental rights in the city. All living and dying creatures routinely practice and choreograph the movements of liberation that sustain everyone. The choreographies of enmity are rehearsed too, in case regressive rains hit the city. The climate is still unstable, after all. Black power naps has grown for what was once rudimentary rest machines in the old world buildings to a subcategory of the rest fundamental right. Its once transformative use of sound, space, and social ergonomics is being used to structure urban planning and landscaping now, creating rest pods that support all the city's caregiving workers, something akin to the old world essential workers. Sex work is acknowledged in all its forms since the sexual insurrection, so the pods often welcome sessions. They feed from such energy exchange, mutating their offerings into more complex spaces. For example, a pod that welcomed a brief feminization session grew small protuberances that emit phytopheromones bound with hallucinogenic sequences. And that's it. That's the extract.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Mm-hmm.
I was vibrating while you were reading because especially when you hit like with the composition of words, talking about the city as embodying vibrant surfaces, delicate surfaces. I think I really need reminders as such, because I often get into this illusion that everything is like so hard, concrete, and unmalleable and unbreathable, like there is no breathing happening and movement happening, especially like in more than human or non-human structures. So yeah, it's beautifully written as well. So yeah, I went on a trip. Hallucinogenic.
Yeah, same. Thank you so much for sharing, Sosa.
Yeah, this text is published under you, Mel. You're the one that also offered that opportunity. So
you should my PA.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Double thank you.
Mel.
Yeah.
Sweet. We can do the same order as last time, or do you want to like bring a bit of chaos and switch it up? Would you like to share
maybe would you like to share yours?
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. So my extract, the last podcast that we did, I shared some song lyrics, and I was like, oh, because like I've been choosing a lot of like academic texts and like maybe 1 or 2 poems, and I was like, I want to switch it up a bit. So I've picked lyrics again, lyrics from Mickey Blanco. So Mickey Blanco and Zebra Cats were sort of like, they're both Black sort of Wiccans, I think. And I went to see Zebra Cats live in like 2012 because they were a supporting act for for Azealia Banks. Anyway, long story short, I fucks with them. Yeah. So yeah, it's in Latin and then I can read the English. So it reads, Carpe noctem, carpe vinum, carpe diem, Deo confidimus, Deo confidimus, Deo confidimus. A bene placito, a caelo usque ad centrum, a capite ad calcem, a contrario, a dusalion, a falsis principis, proficici. Beati poperes, it's locked. I'm reading it off of my phone. Beati poperes spiritu, carpe noctem, carpe vinum, carpe diem, Deo confessimus, Deo confessimus, Deo juvanti, Deo vindice, Deo valente, gesta non verba, gesta non verba. So, sorry, the silence. Yeah, so it's not really necessarily about what the lyrics mean, but more just about like when I heard it for the first time and letting go of fear, I suppose, like when I was stepping into myself and my practice and like hearing Black like music makers speaking in Latin or like being very open about their practices allowed me to sort of unlock crevices within myself that came to fear. And I was raised in a very, very, very strict Christian household. So when I started listening to their music, it really just opened up worlds for me, I guess. And just,
it sounds like a spell, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. So and when I first heard it, I was like, oh, I don't know what it means, but I'm like, I'm going on a journey. But in English, it means so the opening line was hell is chilly, motherfucker. And I was like, fuck yeah. It's seize the night, seize the wine, seize the day. In God we trust, from one well pleased, from the sky to the center, from head to heel, from the opposite. Since Dies Leon, to set forth from false principles, blessed in the spirit are the poor. Seize the night, seize the wine, seize the day. In God we trust. With God's help, with God as protector, God willing, deeds, not words. And yeah, so I was like, yeah, it kind of feels like a spell, but more of like a one of empowerment and one to like release, I don't know, like blockages and chains rather than like, oh my gosh, this bitch is trying to like hex me or whatever.
Oh, I love hexes, don't get me wrong. But
yeah, in the right context, you know.
Yeah.
But like when I'm listening to it on Spotify, I'm like, I don't need no one to like mind control me.
Shake and it all burns, all falls and all breaks. How do you face something so huge? How do you face something so huge?
So I would like to share an extract as well. It's from My Grandmother's Hands, Racialized Trauma and the Pathway to Mending Our Hearts and Bodies. It's by Resma Minakem. Sorry, that looks like this. So it's just a tiny beginning of chapter 12 that is called The Wisdom of Clean Pain. So it reads, healing trauma involves recognizing, accepting, and moving through pain, clean pain. It often means facing what you don't want to face, what you have been reflexively avoiding or fleeing. By walking into that pain, experiencing it fully, and moving through it, you metabolize it and put an end to it. In the process, you also grow, create more room in your nervous system for flow and coherence, and build your capacity for further growth. So I wanted to share that passage because number one, I didn't like really read this week or like in a bit. So it's like there was a marker page, a page marker.
Mm-hmm.
And I highlighted a bit from that passage, but it's really interesting that then I came to that bits of writing, because I really feel that I haven't been blessed in a non-religious way. I haven't been blessed yet to experience one of Black Power Nap's installation in real life, but I have already been moved in many ways by your collective work and individual work. And I think I've been moved in this precise way, as they write, in the process, you also grow, create more room in your nervous system. Your work has been creating more room in my nervous system, even if it has been like experiencing virtually only so far.
Mm-hmm.
So for flow and coherence, and build up my capacity, and I suppose the capacity of many others as well, for further growth. So yeah, I think it's like quite suited as a like, wow, like I'm a fanboy of your work. And
Yeah, you said a keyword though, nervous system. We talk a lot about the nervous system all the time, and we have this concept called meeting the nervous system. And yeah, it made me think about that when you said the sort of effect on the nervous system. Like, we're both really kind of nerdy, like people really love to understand more about like neurobiology, and to understand it, obviously, you know, without a lot of the sort of patriarchal academic lenses that being given. And the thing that we've been researching about in the nervous system is the polyvagal ladder. And without getting too scientific, basically the polyvagal theory acknowledges that there's a brain in the belly, and that there's a lot of communication, or there's like a high-speed highway that goes between the brain and the belly, and that is the nervous system, truly. And yeah, meeting the nervous system is to meet the feeling of the belly in each other. And we use it a lot to describe relationally what happens when conflict begins, or also to kind of talk about the more pervasive aspects of citizen culture. I just feel like a lot of citizens don't really need to meet each other's nervous systems, because they have other regulators in a family, or in a familiar neighborhood, or in a familiarity. So they are sort of co-regulating with all of these elements that are simply not there for migrants, and for me have not been there, right, for ever since I've been here, which is a long time. And so I really have this need of being met in my nervous system, and the nervous system not being just the brain, the discourse, right? Like what we call the discourse, the identity politics, which is definitely necessary. But the nervous system is even deeper than that, right? It speaks like language that sometimes can even be in contradiction with the discourse. And how to make sense of that is a really important part of the work, I think, relationally, in friendships, in love, and in partnership. So yeah, that's all to say, nervous system is a big fan of her.
Big fan. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because it's true. Like, so much of what I've been able to learn living as a friend, a true friend to Sosa specifically, but also other migrants from third world countries. And when we say
Your mom.
Yeah, like my family's from Dominican Republic and Haiti. I'm first generation born in the US. And so a lot of the people I care for are people who have this story. And it's really different to be a child with citizenship and have a family that are migrants and struggle day to day. And all of the, it's discord, it's also like contradiction, it's confrontation. I can't tell you how many times my family would turn to me and be like, "You're so fucking spoiled." Like, you have been spoiled, you have everything, and of course that's not completely true, but there's a lot of things comparatively being an American citizen that grants me a lot of ease and grants me a lot of benefits. And I've been able to learn alongside, in a lot of hard moments. Like, Sosa and I have been hanging out for 8 years now. And we have gone through a lot together, apart from each other, and learning how to show up for a nervous system is basically the universal language. And I do feel that it's a necessary tool for everyone to really build within themselves and toward other people. It's really like a basic rule of empathy and being able to see someone for where they are at instead of what you project onto them, and being at once with how you may or may not be impacting that. That just seems like vital, foundational, fundamental work. And I do think that a lot of citizens get away with really not meeting nervous systems at all. For a lot
Withdrawing.
Withdrawing, not, using a lot of identity politics to also withdraw from being present. And I mean, just literally the simplicity of, you see a child crying, for example, something is wrong, right? Like, it's very simple information. We've all been programmed to be alerted when a child is not okay. And we turn to them and we run to meet their nervous system to see what is going on. What can you do? How can you remove the obstacle from their path? And I just think that we really forget how to do that for other people as adults. Because we all learn to mask a lot of our disabilities, our sadness, our discomfort in spaces. But we are actually all like really sensitive, like extremely sensitive. We know when someone next to us is not okay, even on the phone, even through the internet, you can feel it. And I'm so glad to have practiced in this time with you, Sosa, to turn and say, okay, it literally, whatever my perception is one other thing. And it's so important to just feel, literally connect, attune into the energy that is there, present in the reality.
Yeah, attunement, that's a big one.
Attunement is another word we use a lot. Attunement before task. We say that a lot. Because you get like there's a lot to do in a day, okay, but you still have to process your emotions. And being able to do what you need to do in terms of facing probably white institutions or your job or whatever task, and not having that attunement really disaligns like your purpose. And attunement before task, we say this all the time because it's such a vital part of being able to actually get to any next step and grow together.
We talk about having to do missions, right? We live in a militarized world. We live in a world that is at war, so we go on missions. And we find it very important to, before ever engaging on task, to attune. Even in like a militarized strategy, thinking of the success of the mission is really about being the most efficient you can be out there, and then being able to come back to sort of an inner realm where everything can be adored, and that you can obviously offer the same for the fellow travelers. But yeah, attunement before task, meeting the nervous system, they're all part of like the slowing down of Black power naps. And It's something that we are thinking about all the time. I mean, obsessed.
Absolutely obsessed. Yeah.
That's so nice. I like love that sort of meeting one's nervous system and meeting the nervous system of the other is so distinct from one, trauma bonding, and two, knowing that you can fix someone's problems when you can't. So like that
Yeah.
level of meeting someone's nervous system is not to say like I'm just gonna like merge with you and I'm gonna try and like martyr myself to save you. Like it's not that. It's just that act of like listening and being in tune, and that simple act of like helping to regulate the other, is so nice.
Yeah.
And attunement before task, I'm gonna like write it all over the walls.
Post-its.
So important.
Yeah.
Let's move to the question. So we have 3 questions for you.
Mhm.
The first one is, who was waiting for you to be born?
Mhm.
Who was waiting for me to be born?
I was.
Yes. Yes, you were. Oh my God, it's so true. I
was ready.
had an imaginary friend when I was 4 whose name was Alex and looks exactly like Sosa did when they were a kid. So when we met, I was like, wait, are you Alex?
That is so sweet. Oh my God, I could melt.
And Alex would fly through my window and like we'd have full-on conversations, me standing in my crib, like just having a chat with my friend Alex. And I really feel that spirit was in Sosa, in a lot of ways. It's like we were waiting for each other, and that's what's so cute about our friendship. It's really like since the beginning, as soon as like we connected, which was online, it was super quick and easy. And yeah, the feeling of someone waiting for you to be born just really reorganizes itself when you finally meet someone you vibe with. You're like, oh my God, bitch, where have you been?
Truly.
But yeah, Sosa was waiting for me.
Yeah, I was gonna ask the reverse, like, so Sosa, is it the same? Is it reciprocated?
Well, Navild was born after me, so I was ready. I was like 1 year and some when he was born.
Fully cooked.
I was like, okay, I'm ready. Been waiting. Hurry up. And yeah, I was actually just connecting a bit with like the emotionality of this subject, because I tend to kind of just plow through it and just perform like it's not emotional for me, but it is emotional for me to think about being born, my mother who died by suicide when I was 5, and my single mother also, and being born a while back under like not really being expected, I guess. That's what comes up for me. And when I think about being born, like I was a one night. I'm like, I love how I said I'm not gonna give any details about myself, and I'm like literally talking about my origin story. Anyways, I was a one night stand. And a one night stand that happened in like very sort of momentaneous conditions, because my mother had been institutionalized. Like that was the first night she was out. You know what I'm saying? So it was very magic was definitely being sprinkled around that situation. And so 9 months later, I know who wasn't expecting me, and that's my father. My father was not expecting me. But I would guess my mother was, because she was expecting me. And I'm told that she was really excited to have me, and that I getting emotional. Yeah, I have vague memories of companionship that felt very custom and very I remember painting walls of the apartment with my mom, and I just remember the encouragement to kind of like paint over surfaces that allegedly adults are not like allowed, are not allowing children to paint on, and that element of expansion. So I think she was waiting for me, and I guess she's still waiting for me somewhere in the ancestor realm.
Bitch, you got me crying over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sosa.
Yeah.
I think we're all just taking a moment and like allowing it to sink in, taking some.
Yeah.
Love you.
Love me.
We'll do sort of like a slow transition into the next question, but we can continue to take multiple beats, I think, if we need to. Yeah, and just to reiterate, like, thank you both so much for like being here and like being open, or like just the mere fact of like being here with us today, it's like so
being fully present.
yeah. So I'll like slide this question out onto the boat and push it out into the sea, of who was holding you tight for you. Who is holding you tight as a girl.
Was holding. Say that again. Can you repeat that? Who was holding you tight?
Who is holding you tight for you to grow?
Who was holding me tight? Not enough people, to be really honest with you. I'm like a resistant, like odd, strong plant that is growing like in resistance to it all, like in spite of it all. And I feel that in this life, I've been blessed with a really great friend, Chisosa. And I have also been blessed with a really good friend in myself. I have held myself for, a long time by myself, truly. Being the child of migrants and, growing up literally in complete abjection. And yeah, it's hard to get into details because I feel like it's so important to shield. I want people to understand my story. I also am protective, and I think that is part of also what holds me. It's like I hold myself very tight. I run a really tight ship in here in this inner ecology. I must be pristine at all times, which, I think to the passing eye is gonna look like I'm doing the most all the time. But I really have no option but to be absolutely strong and holding, and like I want to live. I have dreams, I have goals, I have really big dreams, and I'm really intense about getting to them. I have
Yes.
I have suffered enough.
I
And
love that
I would
intense.
yes, I'm very intense about getting to my dreams as quickly as possible and removing any obstacle with every single possible attention, pull of focus that I can get and muster. And that's saying a lot because I go through a lot, you guys. I'm chronically ill. I was born with HIV. I have a migrant family. I'm transgender. I'm Black unambiguously. And I'm also a service provider, as I mentioned earlier. And yeah, life is really a bag of shit most of the time. So it's really a wonder that my ass is still alive. And it must be because I'm fucking magic, And I'm literally meant to do what I'm doing. And I feel that each moment that I can grow, each moment that I can connect, like even right now, being able to have these questions and think about them. And
I was not expecting to go as DBO. I thought we was going to talk about some books.
I was like, oh yeah,
and it's
Black
going to
Power
be a
naps.
wrap.
I can talk about Black Power naps, no biggie.
Let's talk about
Nap,
literature.
nap, nap.
Sorry.
Oh Lord, it's okay. I mean, I prefer to move in the deep waters, to be honest. I'm so exhausted by small talk, so I'm comfortable with this. This is the realm where I move in every day. So
Yeah. I think everything of what you said, Navild, but also that those words of like, I want to live and I have dreams, like those simple things of like saying it out loud, even as like to yourself, to the universe, to whatever, just being like, I want to live and I got dreams. So some motherfucking energy has got to move out the way to get me to where I'm going because like this is the thing. Do you know what I mean? And I don't know, it's something that I think can be so passive, of like this simple act of wanting to live and wanting to like live your dreams, but it's such a powerful driving force, like, yeah. So thank you.
yeah.
Yeah. So did you want to share, or how do you feel?
Who is holding me tight to grow? There's really not enough. I think, like Navild said, I feel like each witch needs to have like about like 13 other witches around, like with different like powers and abilities, and I'm definitely not there yet. But I have been working a lot on my relationship with my ancestors, and I'm starting to feel like they hold me. The voices in my head are starting to be channeled into some resonance. And I'm like, oh, so they've always been there. It's just that I have to like channel and resonate them into being readable for me. So the voices in my head are holding me tight to grow.
More clicks. Throughout the whole conversation.
Yeah, literally, like
It'll just be
if we were really listening to our bodies, we'll be like, oh, that
yeah. Oh gosh, yeah, I really, really feel that. Yeah, there's so much we can say, but I'm gonna slip into the next question. Yes, the last one. So how to create loving environments in the arts too.
Say that again.
How to create loving environments in the arts too.
In the arts too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like the arts, the industry.
Yeah, whatever the arts is to you, like whatever or whatever realm of the arts you're involved in, I suppose. Or yeah, whatever you have to say about it.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a big I'm like,
Yeah, I have
Let's
okay.
say, you know, like it's a big rock to swallow. So take
I have so many ideas, really. Obviously, some that are definitely not terrible on public platforms, but the ones that can be shared. So I mean, for me, truly, guys, like we've been going through pandemic, right? So it's like something is translating in the realm of like war. We're in a war, and like also in an apartheid at all times. Like there is a continuous state that we live in where people alongside us are having extremely different experiences, and we are suffering more or suffering a lot less. And we have diverging like days, right? Energetically, like, ancestrally, generationally. And so to me, creating a loving environment in the arts as an industry is an impossibility. I do believe that people who love each other can make art together, for example. I think it's very bonding. I think that it's a beautiful thing to have a common objective and like build shit together. That is like an exercise of solidarity. And I do think that like for a baseline, solidarity is required in order to have love. It's like you can't have the one without the other. Like I truly need solidarity. Like there needs to be, for example, just like right now, for example, I'm talking to you guys, I'm like, wow, this is so nice. Like how neat to like delve into this place and like create a beautiful art thing together that we're doing right now, right? And it's bonding. Like I will never forget this, and it will go resonating in my heart and create a type of love that is not made in another way, right? Like this is a specific love that is being built in conversation, for example. And I will say this, like I have done many interviews, I have done many panels, I have done all kinds of podcasts, and very seldom is like having a good vibe and attunement between everyone necessarily the priority. And I do feel like in this one where I came with the impression that we're going to talk about Black power naps, which I have all my little sound bites in my little back pocket, you know what I'm saying? Like
the spiel.
I talk about my little project here with my bestie. But this is like fulfilling a type of vibration that I'm personally interested in the world. Like who's gonna sit and look at Black power naps and be like, I wonder what these artists think about creating love in the arts. Like no one is, going, at least not to our face, going like that far and engaging in this energy. So it makes me really want to hang out with you guys, for example, and like be friends. And I think that is also like what is the word I'm looking at? Like, it's looked down on to like be nerdy about being friends with people. Like, it's really frowned on in society, which is hella fucking queer phobic in the end.
To be nerdy and to be intense.
Yeah, and like intense. I'm like, friends now. We got one life to live. Come on, y'all ready? And that's not necessarily something people are holding in their core when they go into arts environments. Let's put it that way. So yeah, that's what I can share about that. My reaction to that.
Wow, yeah, I definitely feel that, and I suppose also props to Mal for curating the questions as well. Like, we spoke about it, and do you want to talk about the inspiration for the questions, like where you got the questions from?
Yeah, but I also want to hear from
Sosa first.
Yeah.
Okay. Sosa, you go.
Yeah, I resonated a lot with what Navild just said about the impossibility of like going, yeah. But I think that what he said about, I guess to me there's some sort of like actual like socioeconomic reading here to what Navild said, and in terms of making art with your friends as a way to survive the apocalypse, and not in a hippy dippy way as they make your little tie-dye projects on the side to like hang out, but like actually make art as in like plot and scheme and imagine different worlds and make them come alive in whichever way you can, and monetize that, like actually be able to put a value onto that in this capitalist world with your friends. I think to me is the way that I could ever think about how to create a more loving environment in the arts. Like, I feel like I don't really see that many like Black femme collectives or Black and brown coalition collectives, or that are actually being priced in the art industry nowadays. I feel like it's solo artists, from which there's a very small percentage that are going to be Black or brown femmes. And then when I look at Black Power now, which is like a universe, and it's based on like a loose sort of collective of people that we collaborate with long-standingly, and I just see how alien that is as a format right now in sort of like the economy, the economization. And I'm just like, yo, we gotta band together. Like, yeah, once again, the the old advice, the old voices, it's like, yeah, we gotta band together. And we gotta band together in smart ways, right? Like, we gotta band together in terms of income, we gotta band together in terms of housing, we gotta band together in terms of verbiage.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the White Institutions Guide is literally a booklet of verbiage. And that literally came only from being able to create collectively and create in relation, in friendship. Like, I'm not just like, oh, randos collectively creating something at a residency. No, it's like a long-standing friendship relationship where we're plowing deep. We're moving in the deep waters constantly. We're not at a small talk level ever. And I just feel like that is what needs to be treasured. And I, again, see it as a very citizen way to be individualistic and to really, and I've seen it play out again and again. People have a really hard time being in service to Black and brown femmes, even more if they're gay, even more if you know. And service is a big word as well. Devotion, worship is a big word in what I think would bring more love. I also think that structure, when I, for example, say a collective, it doesn't mean like I'm seeing it through the hippy dippy white lens of like everybody has the same sort of way, because we just don't. We weigh differently, and our opinions and our life weighs differently. So that needs a very minutious labor of recognizing and mapping that, and then creating a system to like respond to that. And that means actually undoing hierarchies, but also reestablishing some hierarchies. Really simple shit. Who eats first? Who gets past a plate first? Who, you know, who can like ask to sit down, and who needs to stand up, you know? And that methodology, I think, is some of the things that Navild was talking about when he was talking about like being nerdy and being intense. There's a science to this shit. There's a magic to this shit. There is an alchemy. And we got to pay attention. We got to focus. Like, focus is the main ingredient of love. So, yeah.
Damn. I was like, God damn, wow, okay.
I was literally thinking, I'm like on the flight mode a little bit because I was, oh my gosh, like I'm emotionally overwhelmed. And like I received so much, like yeah, I have so much feelings of going through my body, positive feelings, like but I'm like, oh, I just want to hide under a divan because I'm so not used to have this level of you know, interaction. Unfortunately, like yeah. So I want to say, yeah, I'm gonna reply quickly to your previous question. But actually, Sosa and Navild, we have been talking about books because the whole thing about creating loving environments is coming from this book by Bell Hooks. What's the name?
All About Love.
All About Love, New Vision. Yeah. So yeah, it's from that I started to be obsessed with this idea of like creating loving environments. Then the first question is coming, who was waiting for you to be born, is coming from a book about how babies are born that I was reading with Aeon, a children's book. So it's all been about literature, really.
Yeah. Framework, you know, so it's holding us tight for us to grow.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And the act of like, you know, for me, like we were talking previously about considering books also, or artists, you know, writers and so on, producing work, those work as companions, having those work as companions. So the act of like also holding those work, whether it's like within yourself, in your heart, or like physically with your body, you know, holding them tight as well. And I'm holding now our conversation and our moment together extremely tight. And I'm like so up for the friendships. You know, like,
well, when you say intense and yeah, I'm always like, yeah, I think this demonization of intensity in this life, like it's just like, you know, stop it. Smacking them up. Let me be intense.
Like you're supposed to be aloof and like over it, and you'd be like, oh, it's okay. It's and I'm just like, that's just not me. Sorry, y'all.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm very intense and strange, and some people
am
okay. Yeah, so yeah, as we wrap up, one, like a massive, ginormous thank you to both of you for being here, to being present, allowing us to attune with you and vice versa. And having my belly out, you know, like it feels as if like the belly is out to be stroked. I don't know.
Okay.
But you know, like how like cats, you know, when like
I
the
see what you mean.
anyway, yeah. So thank you both so much for being with us today. Do you have any closing words, darlings?
No.
When the walls ache, earth stands and you shake, and it all burns, all falls and all breaks. How do you face something so huge? How do you face something so huge? I wasn't there for you, I fled too scared of my carelessness and the wrong thing said. How do you face something so huge? How do you face something so huge? You can't prepare for it when the rules all change to the point that it's a different game. But when you said I just refused to play, I didn't know how much I felt the same. I know that there's no sense in dying, but living feels like constant fighting. Something so huge, how do you face something so huge?
I wanted to be perfect, or at least good enough. I thought it was better to run away than to show up and hold my breath, but I wasn't there when you needed me.
You were a teardrop, you were eyelash thin, you were the whisper of a butterfly wing. How do you face something so huge? How do you face something so huge? And when you passed away in the distance, all I saw was a screen turn black. So it feels like any day you might come back.